Hey guys, John Loxley here. This is going to be a video about the math of full-time content creation, whether that's quitting your day job and going on to do YouTube or Twitch professionally for full-time, or potentially skipping college and not doing that in order to pursue a YouTube career. So kind of the reason, that second one's a little bit odd. The reason that I brought that up is because that was a question on, I believe it was the Reddit YouTube board. So a 13-year-old had posted saying that he wanted help with a plan because he wanted to go to his dad and convince his dad that it was a good idea for him to do YouTube instead of going to college. He also mentioned he had a 15-year-old brother that tried the same thing with Twitch, and the dad shot him down, so hence the request. So this is kind of what inspired this video, although honestly I have been thinking about it for a while. Now, this is not a judgment on whether or you should or should not do this, or whether you should or should not go to college. It's just a video to go over the math, at least for me, the math that I have done for myself to determine when, if ever, is a good time to go full-time and quit the job. So we'll go over that math. So we want to start with assumptions first, because you need to figure out what your end game is, essentially. So for me, regardless of the outcome of the content creation, YouTube, Twitch, whatever the outcome of that is, I want to be able to retire afterwards. And I say whatever the outcome is because the end may be out of our control. You might be like that Instagram model, potential air quotes here, that she just got banned from Instagram, and you may have seen Tim Pool or whoever talking about her and how she's complaining that she actually has to get a 9-to-5 job and blah 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 blah. The point is, if the content creation thing ever ends for me, I don't want to go back to work. So I've looked at kind of YouTube careers. YouTube is a young platform. Twitch is even younger. So, it's not quite set, but it looks like people have a peak period of anywhere from 2 to 5 years. For the purposes of the math, I'm going to go with 3, just so it's a little bit more on the safer side, because those 3 years are what we're going to use to generate all the money we need to retire forever. I mean, you know what I mean. So I'm going to plan for the worst outcome, not the minimum needed. You plan for things to go wrong, at least for me, because I want to stay retired. If you plan for what is the minimum needed to quit your day job, then you might find yourself back at that day job afterwards. And here's the other assumption. We may not be able to go full-time. It's an unfortunate possibility, but in order to stay, safe and have a full bank account, it just might not ever become feasible. And that might not be on us. It just might be how things shake out. So let's jump into the math. It's going to be really, really simple and fast. It's not complicated. So I set 80 grand for a yearly draw. And what that means is you're going to be drawing every year out of your retirement savings. And instead of making the money, you're pulling it out of your bank account in order to live, right? So I set that at 80 grand. And it does seem like a lot, especially when you realize you're probably not going to have that many taxes on it, but more than likely you are going to have higher medical expenses if needed, because you might have higher expenses in general because you're going to be purchasing your own insurance, and that insurance, like Cobra, is crap a lot of the time, and so you might just have higher medical bills across the board. But it also accounts for spending money and other things, because you want to be able to live, right? Like when I talked about planning for the worst outcome, not the minimum, I don't want to eat ramen every day. You know, I want to be able to eat decent food and spend a decent amount of money and enjoy the retirement if that ever occurs. Now, for that, the yearly rate, according to the literature at least, it's 5% of your retirement savings. It has to be 5% to account for sustainability, right? So you'll never run out of money if you pull 5% out. We're going to go a little bit less. We're going to go with 4%. So that way our nest egg stays nesty or whatever. I don't know. But as long as it stays with money in it. Okay, so $80,000 is a good amount. And if it's 4% of our retirement savings, then our retirement savings needs to be $2 million. Yes. Which means we need to make $2 million in whatever time we set, in this case 3 years. So if you divide it by 36 months, which is the number of months in 3 years, you get just under or just over $55,000 a month. It's like all five. It's like $55,555, something like that. Probably 55 cents also. Now, we need to save that per month. That's a lot. That is like the average salary for Americans. So you basically need to make a yearly wage in a month in order to go full time. So that's why when I say I plan for worst case scenario, I plan for failure, I plan for retirement, that's kind of what I mean, is you need to be able to put that money away, because I don't want to end up like that Instagram person that's having to go get another job. I definitely wouldn't want to be one of those people going into this and not having any college or work history experience or nothing, no skills, and all of a sudden now having to go get a job. Something I didn't quite mention is if you're doing this full time, first off, it's going to be you're basically going from working for someone else to being your own boss. You're going to start your own business, essentially. So I don't know about you guys, setting my own hours and working for myself, it's different than, I mean, I'm thinking ahead, right? It's different than working for someone else. I don't want to go back to working for someone else if none of this pans out, and that's why I need the bar high. The bar, for me, it needs to be really high to justify quitting the day job. So that's it. That's basically it for this video. Just really going over it in conclusion real fast. So I would say plan. These are my takeaway tips, right? Plan and look at the numbers. You know, the numbers that I discussed might not be the same numbers that you guys want to use. You know, maybe, you know, you want to shorten how much time or lengthen, but bear in mind there could be another adpocalypse. You could get banned, something like that. You know, bad things could happen, or you could just make less money. You'd be like Monday Matt and shoot yourself in the foot. So there's all sorts of negatives that you need to make sure that you're planning for. Annie, fine. Manny's in my lap now. So also, as far as the money thing, you know, if you have a spouse and kids, it'll change things, right? Kids cost a lot. Spouses also cost a lot, especially depending on where you are culturally. Sometimes the women want to, like, typically the typical Southern wife, you know, wants to stay home and raise the kids, and so you're not getting that second income, but you have extra expenses and stuff. So something to consider about, especially if you're young. If you're one of those old dudes, or if you're like I saw there was like a 80-something granny playing Skyrim. If you're like her, I mean, you don't really have to worry about it. So just, you know, something to think about. Also, divorce. I know people don't want to think about that, but if you have this nest egg saved up and all of a sudden your your spouse is like, oh, I want a divorce, they get half, typically. So there goes half of your nest egg. And something else to consider, it's only really sustainable if you control your spending. If you're not able to control your spending, there's nothing wrong with working still. You know, if you're one of those people that has tons of energy and stuff, there's also nothing wrong with doing both, doing the day job and the content creation stuff. A lot of people are bad with money. You know, people typically that win the lottery, they're broke within like 3 to 5 years. So this is kind of that boat. You're working hard to put away the retirement money, but then you want to make sure that you hold on to it and you don't blow it. And I guess my final message would be good luck. I seriously want, like, I'll probably never do this. Even though I've thought about it, maybe someone else can take this and gain from it. You know what I mean? Like, I just want, people will do this, even though it's still hard. You know, the market, so to speak, is saturated. People are still going to be able to do it. They're still going to be able to make content full time and quit their day jobs and retire early and all that stuff. And that's the thing. Just, you know, work hard and hopefully, you know, good luck will come to you guys. But that's it. That's it for this video for today. I really hope you guys did enjoy it. I hope it was useful. Any questions, comments, concerns, if my math is off or whatever, leave a comment. I want some comments and feedback, and hopefully this works for you guys. Anyway, guys, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, take care.